Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into the virtual World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway, tonight's venue for Ron Morse Racing's Tuesday Night Thunder for yet another race in this season. My name is Dawson Wise. You're watching the Ghost Racing Network, normally with myself and Austin. Tonight, going to be me flying solo. Austin participated in the College Series race a little bit a while ago. He finished 15th in that race, so a great run for him, but he is deservedly taking the night off, so I'll be bringing you all the action here on the Ghost Racing Network. I'll warn you in advance, I brought it to you a little bit early tonight because we have been having some overlay issues similar to what Austin and I were having last week, so just keep that in mind. I wanted to go ahead and get that PSA out now, but regardless, we're here, we're racing. Regardless of whether or not you've got a ticker on the left, I'm going to bring you as much information as I can. It seems to be working for now, so hopefully we've got that all squared away for you. It is a pretty big field. About 30 cars have made the trip once again for the third week in a row, here to try to lock their way in to the playoffs at the end of the season. And we'll crown another driver here tonight that will lock their way into that race. We do have some guys carrying driver cams for you tonight, as Austin usually does. I've finally gotten the hang of it, so look at me go. And we'll get those guys here for you. Cody Nagels in the 6. He's got a camera for us tonight. There he is. Good to see him out here. He's getting ready to go. He's fired up. You know, he wants a good run tonight. We got Michael Triscaro in the 34. There he is, carrying a camera for us tonight as well. He's getting set to go, looking for a good run tonight. And then a man who's locked into the playoffs already, won the opening race of the season. Matthew Baker is carrying our third and final onboard camera tonight for us. So we will look at those guys throughout the race and kind of get an idea of what they're seeing on the racetrack here as we get it going. 10 seconds in qualifying. We're about to put them on the grid and get them under the green flag here for the first time tonight. I'm glad everybody's joining me. It's a great Tuesday night. Hope you're having a good week so far. I am ready to put these guys on the grid and ready to go racing. And we're going to get them going here in just a moment. So, with that said, that brings us for the first time tonight to our starting grid. And that will begin with the driver of the 31 tonight, Garrett Maines, with a fast time of 50.247. To his outside will be Alex Hill in the 7 for NBG Motorsports. Dylan Basin starts in third with Jeff Merck to his outside in the 4th position. Cody Nagels starts from 5th tonight with Michael Triscaro. We were just talking about him a second ago in the 6th position. Matthew Baker, our third and final onboard camera tonight. He'll roll from 7th with John Mullahan to his outside in 8th. David Sheets will roll from 9th. The winner of the Little Guys race last night, if you got to watch that with me, what a win it was for him. And Kenny McCullough starts in the 10th position. Mark Vondell rolls from 11th with Zach Range to his outside, a newcomer to Tuesday Night Thunder. He's looking to make a name for himself here tonight. Aiden Kirk starts in 13th. He has had a good couple of weeks here in money racing. He's trying to get it going here once again tonight. Logan York starts from the 14th position. Cole Fitzpatrick rolls from 15th. Jason Maines in 16th position. It'll be Josh Holmes in 17th. John Darnell in 18th. Mike Davenport in 19th. And Tony Cox rounding out the top 20. Rest of the field scrolling onto your screen here. Andrew Navarro starts from 21st. Jared Mogard in 22nd. Row 12 will be Daniel Eberhardt and Dylan Jones. Row number 13, John Ward and Heath Job. Row 14, Brock Westmoreland and Chris McCullough. And shotgun on the field tonight, Ryan Baste and Danny Eschleman. That is the 30-car field that will get started here in just a moment. We're waiting on pole sitter Garrett Maines to take to the grid. He has not yet. There you see Alex Hill. He will start outside row number 1. And so we get ready to go once again. Third round tonight of this season. A playoff format in place for these guys. If you make 75% of the races, as long as you make those races, you win, you're in. You're going to fight for the cash at the end of the season in the playoffs. And what a couple of weeks it has been so far. Leading into tonight's race, the two guys locked into the field tonight are both here once again. They are Matthew Baker and I just had his name. Huh? It's Andrew Navarro. He won last week's race. They are the first two winners, two different winners in two races. It's quite a trend going into tonight's race, where we could see our third different winner of this young season. Field rolls through 1 and 2, getting lined up behind the pace car, and we get ready to put them under the green flag for the first time here tonight. 60 laps on tap for you. A stage break coming on lap number 20. As per the usual. So a short run here to the stage, then about a 40-lap run to the finish of this one. Should be a really great night of racing. Glad everybody has joined me. Cheer for your driver out there. If you got a driver in the field, let them know. Let them hear it right now as we roll down this long back straightaway, getting ready to go green. It is going to be a very exciting night. Garrett Maines certainly looked like he was going to get the victory really the last couple of weeks. And a couple of weeks in a row loses out on it at the end of the night. Obviously looking to make his way into the postseason tonight. You know the teammates up on that outside line are going to have it rolling here quickly. Alex Hill and Jeff Merck. And so here we go. Field rolling off of turn number 4, and you know what that means. That means it's time to go racing at the Daytona International Speedway. We're under the lights on a Tuesday night, and we're ready for some thunder. Round 3 of Tuesday Night Thunder is underway. Green flag from Daytona. Off turn number 2 for the first time, and Garrett Maines leads the field along that bottom line, the shorter way around this 2.66-mile oval. He's got Dylan Basin, Cody Nagels, and Matt Baker in tow. Outside is Hill, Merck, and Michael Triscaro as the field rounds through turns 3 and 4 for the first time. We're going to see what the Xfinity cars bring to us tonight. It's been 2 very different weeks of racing. We got a new setup last week underneath these guys, and they certainly looked more confident, more comfortable. And I got who guy looks comfortable right now, and that's the driver of the 6, Cody Nagels. He's going to go to the race lead. He's got his teammates wound up behind him. NBG 1 through 3 on the outside as the field is pretty broken up behind these guys. About a 7-car breakaway, then Mullahan and Range, and then a second group is formed behind the leaders. For now, though, it's all Nagels and his teammates on the outside. But going back to what I was saying, let's see how stable these cars are. I know they got a new setup at Talladega. I don't know if we have it tonight. We'll have to see as the race goes on how stable these guys are, how much they're able to push, how hard they're able to push. Certainly going to be something to watch here as we go throughout the night. Lap 2 on the board, coming down to lap 3. Fast and furious start. Nagels leads that one that time by. In front of his teammate Alex Hill. A nice push trouble. Behind the leaders, it's Mark Vondell and a couple of other cars behind him. We're going to stay green. Daniel Eberhardt coming back up. Tony Cox has to bail out of the way. Now Navarro has to bail out of the way of Cox. One car in the wall, it's Danny Eschleman. And a car off the pace, that's Cole Fitzpatrick. Well, let's take a look at that in a minute when we're not under the green flag. Now the caution flag is out on lap number 3. And we know right where to go to pinpoint it. And that is Cole Fitzpatrick here at the tail end of the field. He was already slow when the caution came out. We're going to go back and take a look, though, and attempt to see what happened here to the 3. See, he's running right here around the 13 machine of Josh Holmes. And it looks like Holmes, I think, maybe got a clear call. Thought he was going to be able to come up behind Cole and was not clear. And unfortunately, gets a piece of the 3. Debris flying off of that race car. And that's what's going to put us under the caution for the first time. We'll try to get one more better look at it here. At what happened here on the front straightaway at Daytona. Very early on, lap number 3. I'm going to tell you what, I don't I don't know about you. I think Jason Maines may get a piece of this as well. He's running right behind it on the inside. This really wasn't that far back. It was about 12 cars back. There you see he gets a piece of Vondell. The 13 of Holmes going halfway sideways trying to save it. There's Jason Maines in the 1. And he does. Wow. Jason Maines. Not the start he wanted to his night here on Tuesday Night Thunder. He gets a big piece of Cole Fitzpatrick. Here comes Brock Westmoreland. And he's going to get a piece of it as well. Oh, boy. Not the ideal start for those drivers. Jason Maines, Brock Westmoreland, both guys we expect to run well. They are behind the 8 ball early on in this one. And we're under the caution for the first time, pacing lap number 5 of 60. Cody Nagels, Alex Hill continue to lead the way. Garrett Maines had just started to settle in on the bottom, I think, when that caution came out. And now as a result, he'll be stuck in 3rd behind Cody Nagels here on the upcoming race start. Jeff Merck, how about the run out of the 60 early on? You know he loves these cars. I think I mentioned it every single week. He really does enjoy racing these race cars. And he's having a great run so far there in position number 4. And then Dylan Basin obviously started up front, was able to push Garrett Maines a little bit on that first run. Trying to find a rhythm here early in this one. So we are under our first yellow here on lap number 5. Looking back further to see where some guys ended up. Kenny McCullough starting to come through the field a little bit. Zach Range is inside the top 10. John Ward is making his way forward as well. Chris McCullough starting to make their way forward, starting to make their presence felt here close to the front of the field. We all expect them to do so. If you were with me last night for the Little Guys Series race over on my own network, that was a great race, first of all, but second of all, McCullough Motorsports had a very strong showing in that race, came home 1-2. In fact, the boss man here on Tuesday nights, Ron Morris, came home second in that race, and David Sheets, who currently runs position number 10, he won that race in a really incredible photo finish. It really should have been a 1-2-3 for McCullough Motorsports. A crash on the last lap ended that. But still a 1-2 and some momentum for guys that you see here tonight on Tuesday nights as well. David Sheets is in the field tonight. Don't believe the boss man's in the field tonight, and I don't see him, so you'll get to see him again on Thursday night in the PGR Thursday Night Heat Series when Austin makes his return for that race. So, McCullough Motorsports, high expectations tonight after a great run last night. Several guys in the field were in that race last night that I was able to call, and what a race it was. Outstanding stuff from some of the guys you see in the field tonight. In fact, I'll name some of them now. If you don't know what the Little Guys Series is, I'll do it real quick before we go back green. It's essentially a chance to spotlight some of the guys that may not get the spotlight here like on Tuesday nights. Aiden Kirk, Zach Range, both in that series. Obviously, David Sheets, I already mentioned him. Looking back through the field, I know Logan York has raced there a few times. John Darnell. Josh Holmes raced last night. I believe Heath Jobe raced last night as well. Ryan Baste gets to race on Monday nights. Mike Davenport runs on Monday nights. Cole Fitzpatrick ran last night's race. I believe Mark Vondell did, as well as Brock Westmoreland. So that's 10 cars out of that field that did get to race that race last night. So get to learn the names because they're starting to rise to prominence. It's helping them figure out how to be more confident, how to be more comfortable, and how to settle in and go race with these big dogs up front. So look out for those guys. But more specifically, after last night, look out for McCullough Motorsports. What a heck of a run it was for them last night with a 1-2 finish. So here we go. Going to be lap 7, be 14 laps to go in stage number 1, our only stage of the night. We're almost halfway through it, as Cody Nagels will bring the field back into the restart zone here for the second time. Flanking him to his outside, his teammate Alex Hill in the 7. Into the restart zone they come. Green flag once again. We are racing here at Daytona. Up through the gears they go. Nagels and Hill side by side. Merck to the back bumper of Hill. Maines to the back bumper of Nagels. They look for help out back. Advantage Matthew Baker in the 5. As the outsides lined up 1, 2, 3, almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as Mullahan and Sheets start to make their way into the picture as well. Nagels pulls ahead for a moment. The outside will wind up here off turn number 2 and down the back straightaway as Alex Hill pokes the nose out front. And the Alabama Crimson Tide Ford Mustang. Jeff Merck in behind him, pushing hard. NBG still lined up 1, 2, 3 there. 1, 2, 3, 5. Inside winds up just a little bit. Cody Nagels back to the lead. Let's see if he gets it. Goes up in front of his teammate Alex Hill. Nope, going to stay home. Keeper planted on the bottom. Drag race between teammates. Advantage Cody Nagels. Now he goes up in front of Alex Hill, and that lines up NBG 1 through 4 on the top. Bottom now will be led by Garrett Maines, Dylan Basin, and Michael Triscaro. Maines pokes the nose out front here in the middle of 1 and 2. Everybody 2 by 2 in lockstep. 3 wide further back around Jason Maines. They get it sorted out, though. And so back up front, still Alex Hill. Still Cody Nagels and Garrett Maines. Still Alex Hill pushing Cody Nagels. He's giving him a heck of a push down the back straightaway. And Maines pokes the nose right back out front once again. Zach Range starting to get into the picture here, as well as Logan York. There on the bottom, Aiden Kirk in the bright green 47, just at the tail end of this camera shot. He was there on the right side of your screen. You'll see him now in that very, very obvious green paint job tonight on that 47. Everybody's still settling for 2 by 2. Nobody willing to go out there and try that third lineup against the outside wall quite yet. Still very early, in a 60-lap event. You don't want to make any moves too rash here early on. Nagels back down in front of Maines. Great pushing up top by Alex Hill. And that's going to allow them to cool off a little bit on the top side of the racetrack. Now there's a guy 3 wide. It's Jared Mogard, but he's going the wrong direction. He's going to have Chris McCullough behind him. Not a whole lot else going here. John Darnell off the racetrack and have to try to blend back up. Oh, contact between Chris McCullough and Heath Jobe. We settle it out and go back down to 2 wide. Back up front. Still Nagels and Hill continuing to lead the way, next time by halfway in stage number 1. Everybody kind of content to ride for right now. I see some guys further back that I think are going to go here in a few laps, but right now, not much advantage to getting out 3 wide. A lot of the guys are where they want to be, at least for this early part of the race. There are stage points given out at lap number 20, the completion of lap number 20. As Nagels, bottom to middle, back up in front of his teammate. Continuing to try to manage the lines and cool everybody's temps a little bit. Allows Garrett Maines to pull back alongside him. May allow him to go back to the lead, at least for the moment. Really no movement most of the way back through the field. Kenny McCullough has lined up with his McCullough Motorsports teammates, John Mullahan and David Sheets. Chris McCullough is pretty close to them as well, so look for them to make something happen here in the next few laps. As we get closer to that stage break, 3 wide further back, Cole Fitzpatrick trying the middle. Not a whole lot to do. He's going to have to jump back in line. Nagels continuing to lead now. Maines leads with help from Dylan Basin. Not a whole bunch of help for them out back, though. Triscaro about a car length off him and allows the outside to roll once again. Nagels goes back to the lead. And drops right back down across the bottom of Garrett Maines. I was waiting to say something until he did something, and he does right there. Chris McCullough 3 wide. A little further back, he's picked up Kenny. They've picked up Eberhardt. They're 4 wide further back. I do believe they were for a second. Around Daniel Eberhardt. And Chris jumped back in line behind Kenny. Up front. Now Nagels back down. That allows Alex Hill to poke his nose back out front of the field. And now 3 wide. Kenny McCullough, Chris McCullough out to the outside. They leave David Sheets hanging. They're coming to the front in a hurry. Here comes the 0-3. The first one to really test that third lane. Does Mullahan go out with him? No, it's still going to just be 2 cars. Kenny and Chris up against the outside wall. They're even with the third row. Matthew Baker matches them. He says, okay, we're going to do that. Fine by me. Contact up front between the NBG teammates. Trouble. Around goes Nagels. Around goes Jason Maines, Zach Range, and others. And we're piling up on the front straightaway on lap 13. Jared Mogard's involved. There you see Nagels, his car mangled here. Same with Jeff Merck. Michael Triscaro, he's got big damage on the 34. There were two separate incidents here, one involving Cody Nagels, Jeff Merck, and Alex Hill, and one involving Jason Maines, which happened behind the lead incident. They basically happened right at the same time. So actually, we may get to look from Maines first. We'll look at the one up front, and then we'll look at the one involving Jason Maines. We saw the one happen up front in pretty much real time. And we're going to back this up. We're going to try to see exactly what happens here. Through the trial, Matthew Baker matches these boys. Going 3 wide. He hangs his teammate out a little bit to dry. David Sheets had just gotten up behind his McCullough Motorsports teammates. They get even with Merck, who comes down to side draft, makes some contact with Cody and Alex, and kind of draws Alex in a little bit of that right rear issue, and then the line stacks up, so Mullahan gets into Merck, sends him sideways. They're going to collect Cody Nagels and Garrett Maines, who I think may keep this going. Triscaro gets hit from behind by Zach Range and Logan York. Logan York slides in. Aiden Kirk slides in. Range up against the outside wall. Then there's another car going sideways there and ends up down on the apron area. And then there was a second incident here involving the one of Jason Maines. And we'll try to see what happened here to the one machine. Looks like he gets hit from behind as well. I think this is a product of the stack-up going on in front of him. Here's Jason. Not really much better of a camera angle than this, unfortunately. He makes contact with Jared Mogard, actually. Comes up, just misses Eberhardt, slides up right in front of, and I can't for the life of me tell which car that is. I believe it's Josh Holmes. No, it's not Josh Holmes. I can't for the life of me figure out which car that is, but regardless, collects a couple of others. And that's what brings out our second caution of the night here on lap number 15. So it splits up the NBG parade up front. They had 4 cars at the front of the field. All 4 entries for that team were at the front early in the going. Not so much now. It's Baker and Hill leading the race, but no teammates to be found. Back to 16th and 17th for Merck and Nagels. So we'll see how Baker and Hill approach this upcoming restart that's going to wrap up stage number 1. We're going to restart with 4 laps to go in the stage. So we're going to put them under the green for 4 laps. If we get a caution inside of that time, I believe the stage will end. But otherwise, we're going to go to lap 20, the completion of lap 20, and we're going to crown a stage winner, give out some stage points. And a lot of guys are in decent spots for that. Garrett Maines, you saw him get sideways in that incident. He continues forward here. He's in 7th position right now, so you got that car going in the right direction. John Ward, Tony Cox, pretty big beneficiaries of that as well. 8th and 9th now. Mike Davenport's up to 12th. Heath Job's up to 11th. A lot of guys up a lot of spots. Christopher McCullough, biggest mover right now. He's up 24 spots from his 28th position starting spot. John Ward plus 17. Ryan Bass plus 16. He's 13th on the racetrack. Heath Job plus 15. Tony Cox plus 11. So several guys making big strides here early in the race, getting themselves in position for stage points and then for positioning as we get ready to go into that long run here towards the end of the race. Field racks up behind our pace car here on lap number 16 of 60. It'll be 4 laps to go, like I said, in stage number 1. Our only stage break of the night will be at the completion of lap number 20. If we do have a chance and I can find them, we'll get an interview with your stage winner when that happens. Hopefully they're around and we can get a word with about what's been a crazy first stage at times. A fun first stage nonetheless. And so we'll see who can get the job done here in stage number 1. I want to thank everybody again for coming out. 10:30 on the East Coast. This one's chugging right along. Already 16 laps of our 60 scheduled distance here tonight. 150 miles for you here on a Tuesday night, as we try to figure out who's going to be the next guy to make their way to the playoffs. Like I said, Matthew Baker, Andrew Navarro, they don't really have to sweat. We know they're both most likely going to be showing up the remainder of the regular season, so not much for them to sweat about. They're going to be racing for a championship and for those payouts when we get to the playoffs in about 7 weeks. The rest of the field trying to either make it on points or get into victory lane in our regular season, make their way to that postseason, and try for the championship. So here we go. 4 laps to go, stage number 1. How will these drivers tackle the last 4 laps of this race? Pace cars off field in the hands of NBG's Matthew Baker. Into the restart zone they come. Waiting on the flag, man. Late green flag, but there it is. Green flag. We're back underway at Daytona, and off they go towards turn number 1. Up through the gears they go. Matthew Baker pushed by Kenny McCullough. Alex Hill pushed by Chris McCullough. McCullough Motorsports locking out 2 rows here. Kenny, Chris, David Sheets, John Mullihan all at the front of the field, trying to make some noise here late in stage number 1. Baker clears Alex Hill. Going to stay at home on the bottom. John Ward to the outside, the first move. Dylan Basin goes with him. John Darnell goes out there, but he's a little bit further back. Now Davenport commits to it. Third line already working. 4 laps to go, stage 1. Here comes John Ward in the 92 for Hyper Motorsports. Ward, even with the 3rd row, he's about 6th on the racetrack. Baker up to pick up his teammate Alex Hill. Leaves the bottom in the hands of Kenny McCullough and John Mullihan. Ward does not have much help, only has Dylan Basin. Mike Davenport bailed out. Baker back to the bottom. 3 laps to go in stage number 1. Davenport falling back further. Only 2 cars against the outside wall. They start to fade. You know Eberhardt probably peeks out there, goes with them. No, he hangs middle with Dylan Jones. Matthew Baker continues to lead. Now his teammate begins to surge. Chris McCullough able to give a little bit better shove that time. But it's all Matthew Baker down the back straightaway. 2.5 laps to go in stage 1. Now he jumps back up. Now Chris McCullough takes it in front of John Ward. 4 wide for the moment. Oh, I don't think we're getting out of this one, and we're not. Oh, maybe we are. We save it. Everybody's still going straight. Everybody's still going straight. And now the caution flag is out. And we're piling up further back. Dylan Basin, Zach Range, Danny Eschleman. And that should do it for stage number 1. We'll go back, take a look at the yellow flag. It's back here around Danny Eschleman, Dylan Basin. The whole field gets stacked up. We saw that. Eschleman gets hooked by the 043. Looked like some right rear net code, and they all bounce hard off the outside wall. All 3 cars. So considerable damage here. I think they're the only 3 that are going to get a piece of this, though. It happened far enough back where that was about the only issue that we had. We'll take one more look, go a little bit further up, show you what caused the stack up at the front of the field. And it started as Chris McCullough tried to go up in front of John Ward. You see Chris there in the 94, middle of your screen, goes up in front of Ward. Ward says, no, got too much of a run, goes higher. They make contact. Everhart and Basin make contact. Maines and Sheets make contact. And then Sheets bounces off the outside wall. And Sheets ultimately, I think, checks up those 3 at the back and causes the stack up that results in the yellow flag that ends stage number 1. Field led on the pit road by Kenny McCullough, so safe to say he is your stage winner here. We're going to let him pit and then try to get a word with the driver of the 03 from McCullough Motorsports. The stage 1 winner, at least by the order they came onto pit road. Staying out on the racetrack. Few cars, including Jason Maines, Josh Holmes, and Michael Triscaro. But as they roll off pit road, we're going to see if we can get you stage winner while we're under the caution flag. And see if he's got anything to say here about his first stage. Hey, Kenny, it's Dawson up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Well, you win stage one right there, at least by my scoring. So tell me a little bit about how the car feels early on. I know that's been a little bit of a point of issue for drivers early in this season in the Xfinity cars. So tell me how it feels and tell me how the racing has been up front from your perspective so far.
It don't feel too bad, man. I think the third lane is going to be the key tonight. I do notice it's a little hard to suck up to a car. You really need that guy to like drive back to you where you can get hooked up quick.
Well, absolutely. It seems like what we're noticing as well. You get the stage victory, and you've got some teammates at the front. It's shuffled up a little bit, but you guys were in force there at the front for McCullough Motorsports. What's the team mindset here tonight, having that many cars in the field and that many cars able to go run up front?
The team mindset every week in these races is to try to keep track position and stay up front. Most of the chaos does happen behind us, so just got to try to keep track position the whole race.
Well, absolutely. All right, we'll let you get back to it. Just want to talk to you for a second. Thanks for talking to us, and good luck the rest of the way.
Yes, sir. Thank you, buddy.
Stage winner, Kenny McCullough Jr. there in the 0-3. You heard him say, interesting to note, that it seems like we're going to have the guy back up to us. That's what he said. Drag back, if you will, drag brake to try to get hooked up with a guy behind you, so that's a bit of a change. We'll see how that affects the rest of the go here tonight. Jason Maines has inherited the race lead as a result of this caution late in stage number one. And now we begin the stretch run to the end of tonight's race and see who will make the postseason here in Tuesday Night Thunder. Jason Maines stays out, inherits the lead. He is inside of row number one to his outside. Josh Holmes in the 13. Row two, Michael Triscaro and Dylan Jones in the 11. John Mullihan, Daniel Eberhardt on row number 3. And then our stage winner, Kenny McCullough, leads the cars off pit road that came to pit road. Jeff Merck to his outside, and then rounding out your top 10. Ryan Baste is in that Kellogg's car that I couldn't figure it out. It's because the number is not the 73 I'm used to seeing. Regardless, that is Ryan Baste in the Kellogg's colors tonight, and Alex Hill is also back there on row number 5 as well, rounding out the top 10. It'll be 39 laps to go when we go back to the green flag. Everybody's still on the racetrack. A few cars laps down. That'll be Zach Range, Danny Ushelman, and Dylan Basin, who were all involved in that incident there that ended stage number 1. Getting ready to go back green. Jason Maines going to see the lead for the first time tonight. A strategy call out of the driver of the 1. Staying out, inheriting the lead. He's dangerous when he gets to the front. Not a guy you want to let see clean air if you want any hope at the race win. So we'll see what he can do here to start our longer 40-lap run to the end. I want to thank everybody again for coming out. Devin Ray, good to see you once again. Wish you were on track. I don't see you tonight. Unfortunate that we don't have you, but glad to see you're hanging out with us regardless here for Tuesday Night Thunder. Pace car is off, and here we go. The 39-lap run to the end begins right now. Who's going to win round 3 of Tuesday Night Thunder? Green flag once again from Daytona. An odd start. Jason Maines backed up a little bit almost, trying to get back to Michael Triscaro. Allows Josh Holmes to drive right to the race lead with the help of Dylan Jones. And now Maines begins to roll as Triscaro, Mullihan are on him. Maines pulls back out front. Oh, trouble! Josh Holmes gets turned off Dylan Jones. John Mullihan going around. Can he save it? He keeps it in the grass, and he's going to keep it going straight. Unbelievable save by Josh Holmes, and he'll start to go backwards. Dylan Jones, Daniel Eberhardt have put him out against the outside wall. It allows Jason Maines, Michael Triscaro to kind of drive away a little bit, take a breath. Here comes Kenny McCullough and Alex Hill. They're going to have a massive run when they get there. See if they take it to the outside here. There goes the 0-3. The 7 goes with them, and the 60 goes with both of them. Jason Maines, Michael Triscaro sitting ducks out front. New leader at Daytona after the line, Kenny McCullough Jr. Our stage winner, pushed by the NBG teammates of Alex Hill and Jeff Merck, who look to go to the bottom, and they do behind Kenny. Leaves the top to Dylan Jones, Daniel Eberhardt, Ryan Baste. Well, not Ryan Baste. They'll leave it to Jones, Eberhardt, and Navarro. Navarro, our winner last week, looking to go back-to-back and get the job done here once again on Tuesday night and spoil the chance for somebody to lock their way to the postseason. For now, the field led by Kenny McCullough. Everybody kind of settled down a little bit. Jeff Merck jumps out to the outside in front of Dylan Jones. What does the 60 have in store for the field? He wants to lead the race early on. Here comes Merck, a big surge with help from Dylan Jones. At the line going to be McCullough, but not for long. Jeff Merck will take the lead of the race for the first time tonight, off into turn number 1. And lead by about a half a car length. Now he's clear across Kenny. Great push by Dylan Jones. And Merck clears in front of the 0-3. Now the 11 once again leading the top. Heath Job has gone up there to help them as well. He's 8th on the board right now. McCullough says, I don't want to ride behind you. I'm going to jump right back out there, go right back to the front. That's what he does. He may get back down in front of Merck here into 3, and he will not. He has to stay up in front of Dylan Jones. Great work by Alex Hill on the bottom to keep Merck even with the 0-3. Jason Maines now is 3rd in line on the bottom. Michael Triscaro fades to 4th on the bottom. Lap 25 goes on the board. That means 36 laps to go here from Daytona. Merck and McCullough continue to lead 2 by 2 most of the way back through this field, about 9 rows deep right now. Make that 7, 8 rows deep now as Mike Davenport joins the party. As well as John Ward, Tony Cox, Matthew Baker, Chris McCullough riding right at the tail end of this draft. Garrett Maines, Cody Nagels, meanwhile, have faded all the way to the very tail end of this group. They currently run 23rd and 24th. Off turn 4 once again, 35 laps to go when we hit the start-finish line. Kenny McCullough, another surge. Now he's down in front of Jeff Merck. Clips the apron a little bit, has to gather the car up, does. And now leads the race on lap 26. Almost halfway home. Tuesday Night Thunder. Dylan Jones surging on the outside. Help from one of the best pushers in the game, Daniel Eberhardt. Trying to get him forward. Andrew Navarro, 3rd in line. Heath Job, Aiden Kirk, Cole Fitzpatrick all making their presence felt here at the front of the field once again. One car has fallen off the draft. That is Jared Mogard. Mark Vondell is with him. They are well off the lead draft. Dylan Bass and Zach Range are both in this pack, but not on the lead lap. Dylan Jones now takes the lead here on lap 27 for the first time as Eberhardt shoves him clear. Almost clear of the 0-3. Now he gets it down. In front goes Dylan Jones. That leaves Daniel Eberhardt and Andrew Navarro to lead the outside. Heath Job, Cole Fitzpatrick, Aiden Kirk. They can see the front getting a little bit bigger in their windshields now. Off turn number 2. Kenny McCullough gets clear of Daniel Eberhardt. He goes up. He wants to lead back. Kenny McCullough, Mr. Aggressive tonight so far, is the 0-3. He wants to lead back, and he's going to get it here in turn 3. So McCullough now pushed by Daniel Eberhardt. Everybody just kind of riding for now, trying to maybe perhaps get to the pit stop that would make it a no pit strategy race all the way to the end. McCullough and Jones lock out the front row. Jeff Merck doing a great job of pushing Dylan on the bottom. Trying to keep the lines even. Good track position for these front several. Matthew Baker, you see him tail end of this lead 6 or 8 car breakaway. He's making his way back to the front. He's 5th on the outside. Actually make that 6th on the outside behind Cole Fitzpatrick. There is the 5. Carrying one of our onboards for us. We'll grab that for you there. You see Matthew Baker trying to work his way forward. There in the 5 on the outside of the racetrack. Jones and Merck now lead. Jeff Merck's got some cleaner on the bottom. Cole Fitzpatrick gets cycled out. He's going backwards in a hurry. Merck's got his teammate behind him. Contact between Jones and Merck. Close racing there in 1 and 2. Closing in on halfway, about 2 laps short. Dylan Jones almost got turned. How in the world did he keep that car straight? I was about to call wrecking for the 11 car right there. Eberhardt going to let him back in line, but it will fade the bottom just a little bit. Let's see if anybody wants to go up in front of Kenny McCullough. Trying to make some ground. Everybody content to ride right where they're at right now. You know, Alex Hill might take it if he gets clear, and he will in front of Kenny McCullough. Leaves Jeff Merck in the hands of Jason Maines there on the bottom. New leader at Daytona, Alex Hill. Alex seemed to not miss a beat coming back to Money Racing. Took a few weeks off. Came right back. Did not miss a step. Has been right back to the dominant young superstar that we've gotten used to seeing on Tuesday nights, Thursday nights. Any night you put him out there, he's going to give you 120%. And certainly has not faltered any even after a short break. He leads now. His teammate Jeff Merck on the bottom. They're dead even. Third line starting to roll, and who else but Matthew Baker, their third teammate, making it work with Heath Job on the outside of the racetrack. Let's see how far they can get. Last time we tried 3 wide, it didn't work very well. Alex Hill drops down. It's going to help the outside up against the wall roll a little bit. There it is. Baker starts to make it work. He's alongside Eberhardt. He's got Heath Job with him. Aiden Kirk, does he commit out there? Yes, he does. The 47 going to try to go play his hand and get to the front. Top line fades a little bit as Baker tried to back up to Heath Job. And so for now, they're going to have to settle to drop right back in behind Andrew Navarro. Hill and McCullough continue to lead. They lead both lines. Hill in front of his teammate Merck. McCullough in front of his teammate, or excuse me, not his teammate, in front of Dylan Jones. Kenny thought he was going to get cleared, didn't. Now Navarro tries the outside of Daniel Eberhardt. Now he's got Matthew Baker with him, and this may draw a crowd. Well, maybe not. We'll see what kind of work the 5 can get done. One of the best pushers in the field tonight, Andrew Navarro, will certainly hold a pretty wheel for him. Heath Job goes up there. They've got cars lined up now. Navarro is coming forward. He's 6th on the racetrack right now, trying to make it a little bit better than that. They're alongside Eberhardt. They're alongside Jones. Here comes the third line. And seeing that, Alex Hill moves up in front of Kenny McCullough. Allows Jeff Merck to cool off. He knows that third line is coming. He knows they're going to have fresh temps on the bottom. Here comes Navarro. He's going to poke his nose alongside the 7. We are 3 wide, 3 rows deep for the first time here tonight. Navarro, even with the leader Hill. Now Hill surges a little bit in the middle. The help of Kenny McCullough. Bottom starts to roll as well. Jason Maines, Jeff Merck, they've got it wound up. But here comes the top. Navarro, Baker, Job, and John Ward a little further back trying to make it happen. Still all Alex Hill down the back straight away. Might go down in front of his teammate Merck right here. Nope, chooses to stay up instead. Going to just continue to hold the middle line, the defensive line. Does Kenny think about going up and splitting him? Nope, he thinks about going down in front of Alex's teammate and retaking the race lead. And that allows Andrew Navarro to get alongside the 7, go to 2nd, go to 1st, and drop down across Alex Hill. Excellent work by Andrew Navarro to get back up to the front of the field and now controls the race for the first time tonight. Last week's winner looking to go back-to-back. He's in a good spot. Inside of 30 laps to go. Over halfway home in Tuesday Night Thunder. If you're just joining us, you've missed a good one. A lot of lead changes. A lot of good racing up front. It's getting even better every single lap. Kenny McCullough now pulls back to the lead. He's got Jeff Merck behind him. Top line still holding tough a little bit with Matthew Baker and Heath Job. They need about one more car, I think, to really make it work. But they're making it work so far. At least they're trying to. But it's all Andrew Navarro out front of the field. Navarro going to drop down in front of Kenny McCullough. Leaves Alex Hill. Dylan Jones, Daniel Eberhardt in the middle to try to fend off the surge from the top line, which is Matthew Baker and Heath Job. They're going to have to drop in, I think, behind Daniel Eberhardt. Damage Machine coming up in front of leaders, I believe, is Danny Eschleman. Alex Hill goes back to the race lead, but now Navarro, a big surge as the middle is very separate right here. Kenny McCullough is going to get clear. Let's see if he takes it up in front of Alex Hill. No, content to ride right where he's at on the bottom. As Hill gets a nice push from Dylan Jones. Trying to come back forward. 25 laps to go from Daytona now. As we get closer and closer to figuring out who's going to win round 3 of Tuesday Night Thunder. Who's going to earn their spot in the playoffs? Will it be a repeat winner? Will we have a new winner? A lot of questions still. A lot of time for them to be answered. Almost half the race to go. John Ward, Garrett Maines trying to make their way forward. I think a pit stop is coming. Everybody's starting to single out along the bottom line of the racetrack. That's usually a telltale sign we're getting close to pit stops. Navarro and Hill continue to lead off turn number 4. No takers that time by. Be 24 laps to go as the field races by the flag stand. Top line surging a little bit now. Alex Hill with the help of Dylan Jones. It's now 6 cars top. Everybody else on the bottom now. A couple more cars trying to make their way to the top. It's the lap machines of Dylan Basin and Zach Range. Now Basin drops right back in. Range going to have to try to find a spot as well. Cole Fitzpatrick coming to his aid. All been in turn 3. Alex Hill continues to lead. So you got down in front of Navarro. Dylan Jones now leading the top in front of Eberhardt, Baker, Ward, and Garrett Maines. To the line. 23 laps to go from Daytona. I thought there was still a pit stop coming. There might not be. It may just be everybody's calming down for a little bit, trying to log laps, get down to the end of this race, and then go make your move. For now, still too wide at the front. But now Baker is third in line in the middle, and that allows Jeff Merck to get up behind his teammate. Some options now for NBG Motorsports. Their 4th car, Cody Nagel, still at the tail end of this draft. Garrett Maines is starting to come forward. Cody Nagel's content to ride where he's at in 20th. Not in a bad spot. Still a lot of laps to go. Dylan Jones drops across Alex Hill, leaves the top open for the 7. He jumps right back up there in front of Daniel Eberhardt. 3 wide now. John Ward, Garrett Maines going to be the first to test this go-around of 3 wide. Alex Hill, Daniel Eberhardt, Matthew Baker, Jeff Merck in the middle. Dylan Jones, Andrew Navarro, Kenny McCullough, Jason Maines on the bottom. Dylan Jones up to the top in front of Alex Hill. Matthew Baker says, I want a piece of that. Goes up in front of John Ward, and as soon as he does, Zach Range and Garrett Maines jump right back in line and hang those two out to dry. And now Matthew Baker, I thought he was going to get hung out by John Ward. And now he is going to get hung out by John Ward. Matthew Baker going the wrong way in a hurry. So the 5 going to have some regrouping to do. About 6th in line, make it 7th in the middle. Dylan Jones, Alex Hill, Andrew Navarro, Kenny McCullough continue to lead this race. 21 laps to go. They're ticking by fast. We're getting down to the end of this race. They pass the lap machine of Brock Westmoreland coming off pit road. Andrew Navarro still continuing to lead. Alongside Dylan Jones. So everybody jockeys for position. Lap machines up ahead. And that's going to be not these cars. It's going to be these cars. Ryan Bass, Mike Davenport, Michael Triscaro. There's one other car with them as well. Looks like Danny Eshelman. They are not far in front of the leaders now. You hear them just faintly there at the edge of our camera shot. Their audio got picked up. They're not far in front of the leaders here. That group's going to go a lap down. As the field bears down on there, you see them there at the top of the screen. Luckily, everybody's still too wide. Should be able to manage this okay. Navarro continues to lead. They're going to have to negotiate these lap cars here when they get to the exit of turn number 4, most likely. Off of 4, off the banking, and back towards the flag stand. Navarro continues to lead. 19 laps to go. Aiden Kirk has found his way into the top 8. He runs in the 8th position right now, 4th on the bottom line, behind Jason Maines. A lot of the heavy hitters here at the front of the field. And some kind of unknown issue for Cody Nagels here. Not sure what happened to the 6, but at some point, he has gone around and has serious damage on the back of the 6 car. Not sure what happened there. With the race up front, we don't really have time to go back and look, but some unknown issue has occurred with the 6 of Cody Nagels, so he's going to need a bit of a miracle here. Danny Eshelman, oh my goodness, they caught him in a bad spot right there between exit of tri-oval and entry of turn number 1, and luckily he flies out of the way and allows these guys to run on by and continue to race 2 by 2. Andrew Navarro, Dylan Jones, Kenny McCullough, Alex Hill, and Jason Maines. Jones, a big surge on the backstretch, not enough to clear Navarro. Navarro, another surge, but Kenny McCullough this time, contact between Jones and Navarro. Kenny McCullough got loose there on the entry of turn number 3, had to back off the 44. Alex Hill did not have that happen to him, although he has been trying to cool that car off the past 5 or 6 laps. Temperature is becoming an issue. Tires becoming an issue. Still all 2 by 2. No one really willing to try the third lane quite yet. 17 laps to go. There's the base Davenport and Triscaro machines. They jump up to the outside line against the wall. Off into turn 3. They're going to catch them right here on a pretty good spot, the exit of 4. So it'll be a pretty decent spot for them to widen out the field a little bit and get past these guys without much issue. Dylan Jones leads in the tri-oval. Oh, man, he can almost sniff being clear of Andrew Navarro, but not quite. Still close enough to smell it, but not quite. 3 wide here briefly as they bypass Triscaro, Based, and Davenport. Put them 1 lap down. Jeff Merck out of the outside 3 wide. A little bit early, I think, for 3 wide, but it may have not been his choice. The middle may have stacked up, but he's out there, and John Ward goes with him. Here we go. We're getting to it here at Daytona with 16 laps to go. Here comes Jeff Merck. Does his teammate Alex Hill go up with him? No, he does not. He stays home in the middle and pushes Dylan Jones. They're going to need a third car. Does Matthew Baker go with him? No, I don't believe so. He's going to stay in line. So Merck and Ward may have showed their hand a little bit too early. They're going to start to fade backwards a little bit. 15 laps to go. Navarro surging back to the lead. Outside going to get a run off turn number 2 as they are lined up, though. Jones. Hill, Eberhardt, Maines, Baker. Coming up on more lap machines. This is going to be Mark Vondell, Jared Mogard, and one other car. Navarro up in front of Jones. That allows Kenny McCullough some fresh air for the first time in a while. Merck in the wall. Jeff Merck is into the outside wall and going backwards in a hurry. The 60. Oh, man, this is not what he wanted to see. And I believe he's knocked the right front out of that car. We'll get a look here as he comes off turn number 2. Trouble. John Mullahan's around. Still no caution. Mullahan gets it back going, but is very slow. And Merck, yeah, he's knocked the right front out of the car. Back up front. 3 wide once again. Garrett Maines, Chris McCullough. What can they do along the outside wall? They're going to get even with the second row, but that's about as far as they'll go, is to the door number of Dylan Jones. 13 laps to go. Chris McCullough doing a pretty good job keeping Maines up there. Contact between the 7 and the 1. And now they start to fade. They need a third car. Nobody's willing to go with them quite yet. Guys are starting to mix it up. They realize it's getting late. It's getting to the point of the race where you can't wait anymore. So still 3 wide. Oh, more contact between Maines and Alex Hill. That's the second time in a half a lap they made contact there, running side by side. Dylan Jones continuing to lead. He's going to get it this time. Nope, he is not quite going to be clear of Andrew Navarro. Hill continues to just manage his temperatures. Be a solid asset to the 11 car in the middle of the racetrack. Now they've got a third. Zach Range has gone up there. Does that change the dynamic of the third lane? I do believe it will. Here comes Garrett Maines in the one machine. Can he get all the way to lead? Yes, top to bottom. New leader, Garrett Maines. So there you go. There's the secret. 3 cars in the outside line will work. And if you're the rest of the field, you just saw that. And trouble out back. Not trouble, excuse me. I thought Matthew Baker was spinning. I saw his wheel moving. It's pit stops here with 11 to go. Garrett and Jason Maines, Andrew Navarro, Kenny McCullough, Daniel Eberhardt, Logan York, John Darnell, and Heath Job. Job has come to a stop and bounced off the inside pit wall, trying to get into his pit box. An unfortunate break there for that driver. Excuse me. Man. Trying my best here. Chris McCullough, Dylan Jones now lead the race. You'd expect this group to be on pit road this time by to counter that lead group. Here they come. Jones, Hill, Baker, Sheets, Kirk, Fitzpatrick. Baker spins it, but keeps it straight. Oh my goodness, Matthew Baker. David Sheets misses his pit box in the 0-6. An extended stay on pit road for Heath Job. As these guys are into their boxes. Navarro, McCullough, Eberhardt, Maines, they're out of pit road. This group's not really together, so an opportunity here for this group to beat them off pit road. Here goes Josh Holmes by the leaders, but this group is going to be intact, and they're going to maintain the lead. I do believe it's going to be awfully close. Here comes the Maines and Navarro and McCullough and Eberhardt group. Here is Dylan Jones. They're in the middle of 1 and 2. Getting as much out of it as they can off of turn number 2, and they will maintain the race lead, at least for a moment here. Here come Maines and McCullough, but it's only those two, and they're going to fly on by. Let's see if this group can get going quick enough to hold on to their draft. Dylan Jones will get passed by Garrett Maines. So Garrett Maines re-inherits the race lead in front of Andrew Navarro and Kenny McCullough. Now the benefit for that group led by the 2 NBG cars is that Garrett and Andrew were split up, and now Baker, Hill, Sheets, and Basin are not. They are locked step together. Actually, they're going to drop in front of Dylan Jones, try to make their headway that way, but Baker and Hill are coming forward here with 9 laps to go, and this is going to be the cars right there in the middle of your screen. That's going to be the cars that are going to settle it, barring a caution. Maines gets some toe off the lap car of Zach Range. They go around the lap machine of Jared Mogart, scrambling to make it around lap cars. Baker and Hill going to ride for now. 9 laps to go as they'll start to plot for the end of the race. Aiden Kirk goes a lap down. Garrett Maines going to pace the field for now, but he knows that charge is coming a little bit later. Or how long do they wait? Eberhardt to the outside of Kenny McCullough. Does he fade back in? No, he saw that Matthew Baker run coming and goes up to block it, but Alex Hill wasn't able to get with him. Now McCullough jumps in the outside train, and just like that, we're going to race it out here with 8 laps to go. Maines, Navarro, not much help on the bottom. He goes up to block. Kenny's going to have to probably take him a lane higher. Maines had no choice but to drop right back down. Kenny McCullough leads once again at Daytona. Eberhardt, Baker, Jones, Maines in tow. They drop down. Kind of in limbo. Eberhardt stays up. Lap car in the middle of the track. Almost gave him issue. Did Josh Holmes. We keep it going nonetheless. Eberhardt the outside of McCullough now for the lead, pushed by Matthew Baker. 7 laps to go. Eberhardt still not clear of McCullough. 2 wide, 4 rows deep. The lap car of Brock Westmoreland is in this pack as well. McCullough's got a great Group of helpers on the bottom in the form of Garrett Maines and Andrew Navarro. Top line trying to roll, but it just can't. Now it does. On the straightaway as Baker and Jones get back to the back of the 90. Jason Maines looks 3 wide. With the help of David Sheets, not a lot they're going to be able to do, I don't think, unless the third car goes with him. Alex Hill thought about it, but now goes back to fill the middle. And now there's no help for Jason Maines. Boy. Scrambling. Jason gets back in front of Alex Hill. They put John Darnell a lap down. 6 laps to go. Who makes the first move? Jason Maines. Does anybody go with him? No. He slides right back into line. McCullough and Eberhard up front. Maines and Baker the lead pushers on both lines. Now the middle gets a better roll through the center of 1 and 2. It's the best run we've seen them get almost all night. Dead even drag race down the back straightaway between Eberhard and McCullough. Everybody biding their time, waiting to make what should be for them the race-winning move. Eberhard still hanging right at the right side door number of the 03, but not for long now. The 03 is going to get clear here heading into 1. Does he take it? I don't believe so. I think he's going to stay right where he's at. He does. Stays home. Continues to lead the race with 5 to go. He won our only stage of the night. Could really cash in and make this an incredible night if he were to convert this into a win. But Garrett Maines has some things to say about that. Garrett goes to the top of the racetrack. He takes the race lead. He wants this just as bad. Goes to the lead. Does he go back down in front of McCullough? Nope. He's going to stay up in front of Daniel Eberhard. Bottom line fading. It's just McCullough and Navarro. Middle's got all the help. Field drops by Cody Nagels and Tony Cox. Maines down in front of Kenny McCullough. 4 laps to go from the world center of racing. 10 miles left in Tuesday Night Thunder. Jason Maines again tries the top of the racetrack. Now Alex Hill commits to go. Does Baker go up in front of Jason Maines? He may not have time. He's got to go now. McCullough to the outside. He gets clear of Eberhard. Does Baker think about taking it 3 wide? He does. Matthew Baker in front of Jason Maines. Now the third line starts to roll. McCullough goes back to the lead. He's back across the nose of Garrett Maines. That allows the top to roll here into 3. Top line, Baker, Maines, Eberhard. Baker, Maines, Hill. Middle, Eberhard, Jones, Basin is on the lead lap. And David Sheets. Oh, contact between Eberhard and Baker. Baker gets turned. No, they don't. They keep it all straight. Somehow we're still going. 4 wide in the trial. Trouble. Brock Westmoreland is around. And we're going to wreck him up in the trial. No, we're not. 3 laps to go. Still green flag racing. Everybody's still hard on the throttle, and the caution flag now comes out. Wow. Take a breath. Take a quick breath. Oh boy. This one started with really a stack up there out of 4, but we're going to focus on Brock Westmoreland. This is where the caution is going to come out. You see the contact up ahead between Baker and Eberhard. Them fanning out. Westmoreland's trying to come back up on the racetrack. And there's going to be more contact here, I think, between David Sheets and John Ward. Propels the 06 down into the 4 of Brock Westmoreland. Westmoreland hooks the 92. Aiden Kirk nowhere to go for the 47. John Ward slides through the grass. Has a bit of damage on the 92. Logan York slides through the grass. And you may be thinking, well, nobody got around. Why is that a caution? Well, it's one of those where the button was pressed and perhaps maybe in hindsight not worth a caution, but obviously at the moment that the button was pressed, it certainly looked like we were going to pile up several cars, and we almost did, and several guys with considerable damage out of this one to put us under another caution, which is going to send us into overtime. Hold on. Hold on to your seats here, folks. You thought that first run was good. You thought that was crazy. It's going to be a 2 laps to go restart, a green-white checkered. Our first of the night to attempt to put this one in the books. It's been a great race so far. How will these guys close this one out? Maybe 3 green-white checkers, I believe, to get us done tonight. So plenty of room here for a couple more restarts. So we get ready to put them back under the green flag on our first green-white checkered attempt here in just one moment. While we do have a second, we'll check in on our guys with in-car cameras. Matthew Baker running in the 4th position right now. There he is, figuring out his plan for this restart. Michael Triscaro's back on the lead lap in 14th. He's currently sitting on the pit lane. There he is. As he rolls up through the gears, getting back with the field. He's going to have a look at this one as well. Our final guy with an onboard camera tonight is Cody Nagels, who I believe is still more than 1 lap down. In fact, no, maybe, yeah, he is several laps down still in the 6. There he is, sitting on pit road trying to repair some of his damage. So we get ready to go for an overtime restart. The field already racked back up. We're going to go about another lap and a quarter here to try and get this one to completion. Garrett Maines finds himself in the catbird seat. Andrew Navarro will be to his outside on this restart, assuming Garrett does pick the bottom line. We'll see here once we get back to the 1 to go signal here. Does certainly appear like he's going to be selecting the bottom. Row 2 is going to have some great pushers on it. Kenny McCullough and Matthew Baker. Row 3 going to be Dylan Jones and Jason Maines. And then row 4 is going to be your wild card drivers on this restart. It'll be Daniel Eberhardt and Alex Hill. Maines actually deked me out, picks the top instead, and will start in front of Matthew Baker here on what potentially could be the final restart. So Maines outside, Navarro inside on row number 1 here. It'll be our first of what I believe to be 3 green-white checkered attempts if we need them tonight. We get to the white flag. The race is official. No matter where the wreck is, no matter how big the wreck is, we're going to race it back and crown ourselves the winner here in Tuesday Night Thunder. Some guys further back. This is kind of a mulligan for a few guys a little further back in the field. Mike Davenport, Michael Triscaro, Logan York, Ryan Bass, Cole Fitzpatrick, all going to have a look at this one. At least a chance at getting into a cash spot, but potentially a look at the win if they play their cards right, miss a couple wrecks, or have something go their way here on this last restart, potentially last restart from Daytona International Speedway. Glad everybody has tuned in. This race has flown by. Been a pretty clean race altogether. A calm race for our standards. These guys a little bit more tame tonight than we're used to, but the last little bit, you can tell the intensity was ramping up, and it certainly is going to be as high as it's been all night right now. This whole race comes down to potentially 5 miles to crown a winner. Let's see who is locking their way into the postseason. Garrett Maines will lead the field off turn number 4. He will be the control car as the pace car makes the hard left turn. Green-white checkered attempt number 1 for Tuesday Night Thunder. Who's going to get it done from Daytona? The long crawl to the restart zone. The flag man's got the green flag in hand. Green flag. 2 laps to go from Daytona. Up through the gears they go. 2nd to 3rd here on the exit of the tri-oval. 3rd to 4th here in 1 and 2. Matthew Baker, Garrett Maines got a great restart. Does Maines go down? Nope. Stays right in front of Matthew Baker, who now I think determines the most on this restart. Big surge by Navarro. Navarro may get up in front of Garrett Maines if he gets clear, but he's not going to have a chance. Almost gets turned by Kenny McCullough. They're loose. They're spinning. Dylan Jones is around. Into the outside wall. Mike Davenport spins. Cole Fitzpatrick spins. And the caution flag is out once again. So another quick stop to this one. As Dylan Jones, Jason Maines get together near the front of the field, and we'll have another restart here. Another overtime attempt will be needed. This started up at the front of the field. Looked like an issue between Kenny McCullough and Andrew Navarro. You see right there, he's like sliding along the back bumper of the 44. We got it focused on Dylan Jones. You're going to see him right there. That push was bad enough. Slid the 44 left, and then as Kenny goes to overcorrect, tries to follow Navarro down. It's going to give him a little bit of an off-center shove right here as the car comes off the banking. It's really light. And there it is. Navarro gets out of shape. Looked like for a second he was going to hook a dead right back across the field right here. I definitely thought he was going to. Somehow these guys keep it going straight, but then Jason Maines gets a shot from Alex Hill. Slides down across the banking. Then Jones comes back up right in front of Ryan Bass. Not much he can do. Actually, he's going to miss this. Mike Davenport not as lucky. Triscaro, how in the world he missed that one? I have no idea. Fitzpatrick, unlucky there. And these three cars slide to the bottom of the racetrack and result in our caution flag here late in the going. Let's actually get right on board with Ryan Bass. See if he was able to miss this crash. It was close. He's running 5th on the bottom, 6th on the bottom. Let's see if we can get on board. Here we go. Pretty good shot right here from Ryan Bass in the 73. Here you see Maines gets turned. Wow. Ryan Bass. Impressive adjustment there. Now I want to give you one more on board, and it's actually going to be from Kenny McCullough. Pushing on Navarro, and you'll see what I'm talking about. That push right there almost got him sideways. And that one does. I don't know how these guys kept it going straight, but they do. Impressive driving by McCullough Navarro, though, to keep it from being a much bigger incident than it was. Under the caution flag once again here at Daytona. We're going to go to our second green-white checkered attempt of the night. We got 3 of them to use. And so this will be number 2 of 3. What a race it has been tonight. I want to thank you for joining me. Stick around when this race does go under the checkered flag. We'll get to hear from the top 3 following this race, so stick around and get some inside perspective from those guys, whoever that may be. A lot of cars still in this race, still with an opportunity to win, an opportunity to get into the cash spots. A lot still to happen here, even if it is just 2 laps to go, so stick around. You're going to get some insight from the top 3 finishers in this race right after we go under the checkered flag. Looking ahead, Thursday night, PGR Thursday Night Heat Series is back here on Ghost Racing Network for another 55-lap event. Some bigger payouts on the way for that race, I believe, this week. They're in the works right now. So tune in for that. Austin and Baker will have the call for you as usual. Austin's back, I believe, with Noma on Saturday. Tune in for that as well. I've started to tune in, and it's actually been very enjoyable to watch. Noma, quite excitingly, gets me away from the super speedway scene a little bit on a Saturday night. It's nice to kind of take a little bit of a break. And then for me personally, beyond the Ghost Racing Network, tomorrow night over on Turn 3 Racing Network, come check out the OP Racing Wednesday Night Grand National Series Round of 12 Race 2. from Legacy Daytona. This is the middle race of the round of 12. Sees myself and 11 others try to duke it out for the last 8 playoff spots. That's going to be a good one as well. And on Thursday night, before you tune into PGR, come out and watch some of the OP Racing Throwback Series. We're going to have Gen 4 racing at the Last Great Coliseum Bristol this week, also on Turn 3 Racing Network. Hope to see everybody there before PGR. Obviously, make sure you go out and watch PGR with Austin and Baker. That's going to be a great race. I hate that I have to miss those. They're definitely a great race as well. And then Sunday night, Austin's back here on the Ghost Racing Network with NSRA Sunday Select Racing. I believe back from Daytona as well. In these cars, I'm almost positive. We're back in the Xfinity cars. I think we're back at Daytona next week. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is Daytona for the Sunday Select Series. And I'll be on track for that as well. Until then, we're going to crown a winner in Tuesday Night Thunder. Green, white, checkered, number 2 about to get underway. Garrett Maines and Matthew Baker lead the field of green, and off we go. Maines with a huge restart. Maybe too good a restart. Has to jump up, try to block Baker. How much of a run's the 5 going to have when he gets to him? The bottom fading in a bad way. Navarro, no help. Maines has to stay middle. Baker gets to Garrett Maines. He's got Kenny McCullough and Chris McCullough with him. Triscaro up to the middle. Basin went middle, now goes back to the bottom. Triscaro trying to make something happen. Right now, it's all Garrett Maines, the front of the field. Navarro starts to surge a little bit with the help of Daniel Eberhardt and Alex Hill in the bottom. Halfway down the back, into turn number 3. If they get to the white flag, this race is official, and we're going to crown a winner. 2 by 2. Here comes Navarro. He'll poke the nose back out front. Outside will roll once again. Garrett Maines and Matthew Baker. Into the trial will they come. We're going to settle it right here, right now. White flag in Tuesday Night Thunder from Daytona. Baker and Maines go back to the race lead just by a nose. It's Maines and Navarro. Who thinks about going 3 wide? You got to make something happen if you're going to do it. Jason Maines to the outside of Michael Triscaro. Triscaro trying to cut off the move. Not much of a run. Kenny McCullough now looks to the outside. Chris McCullough looking to the outside and allows Navarro to surge as the middle gets kind of locked together. Now Kenny goes. Now Baker goes. Maines has no help. Navarro, he's loving this on the bottom. Eberhardt may have a gap to get up. Baker back to the middle. Can they surge enough? I don't think so. Does Alex Hill have something to say about this? Does Eberhardt have something to say about this? Into the trial for the final time. It's all the 44 Navarro. Back to back. He wins Tuesday Night Thunder. Andrew Navarro plays spoiler. And goes back to back. Oh, my. We crash him up here. Navarro's not even getting much of a chance to celebrate. At least they waited until after the line. Navarro first. Eberhardt pushed him all the way to the victory. He finished his second. And Alex Hill ends up coming home third in that last lap melee. Navarro not even going to get to celebrate here, unfortunately. As they crashed him up in turns 1 and 2, but nonetheless, he gets the victory from Daytona and what ended up being a really crazy ending to this race. And so that'll do it here from Tuesday Night Thunder. What a race. What a finish. And stick around. We're going to get to your top 3 here briefly. We'll let them take a second, get prepped, get their thoughts straight here. And I believe we're going to have all of them now, so we'll get right into it. We're going to start with 3rd place tonight. And that is the driver of the 7, Alex Hill. Beats his teammate out at the line for the 3rd position. We'll see what he's got to say here about tonight's race. Hey, Alex, it's Dawson up in the booth. You get a copy?
Got you.
Well, you come home 3rd. It's a pretty crazy race. I thought for a second you were going to have a look for it there off turn 4, but you come home third nonetheless, and that's got to be a pretty good effort for you. Pretty good momentum, pretty good points tonight.
Yeah, it was. It was a pretty solid race all around. I was just trying to manage my car. Past few races have been pretty caution filled, so keeping that faster pair is king, and I managed to actually keep it tonight. So that's always good. It was a pretty clean whole race. Not really a dull moment. We had some green flag pit stops. Did good on those. Team did what we needed to do to bring it home 3-4.
You guys did certainly a great effort for you. And we talked about it a little bit earlier. You took a break. You came back. It seems like you haven't missed a beat. What goes into that? You came back, and it looks like you just never even missed a single race. You come back, you have the same kind of momentum. So, what goes into keeping that dominant form that we saw out of you from a couple of months ago?
Yeah, just practice. I mean, I've been practicing a little bit here and there. I've been doing other races. Officials also help. We had Talladega Week a few weeks ago. So, just keeping up with what's going on. Just making sure I can draft correctly, making sure I can push, bump draft, all that. Just keeping those skills fresh is key.
Well, absolutely. And you come home third tonight. It's a great effort for you. So while I have you for a second, anybody you want to shout out or thank?
Yeah, thank you to everybody over at NBG, Martin Sports, and thank you to you for putting on this wonderful broadcast.
All right, well, congrats on that third place effort. Go enjoy it with your team. A good effort for you guys tonight. 3-4. Go celebrate. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. See you.
Alex Hill into the 7. Gets the job done, comes home into the third position. That'll move us to our second place finisher. That is none other than Mr. Daniel Eberhardt in the 90. Had a look at the win, decided to push Navarro. We'll see what he's got to say about it here. Hey, Daniel, it's Dawson up in the booth. You get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's a good night for you. It's a night where you come home P2. It's a night where we saw you lead a lot of laps. You looked very comfortable. So take me through your night and how you're feeling about a second place run.
Yeah, Navarro's my buddy, so I'm not gonna make a move on him. I feel like when Baker made that move on Garrett, it just hurt Baker's chances of finishing. You couldn't pass. I don't know whether it's the weather, the setup, or what. And Baker makes good setups, so I don't think it's a setup. I just think it was just all over the racetrack. I don't know I think the wind had a lot to do with it and stuff like that, and the track being so cold. But you'd be running behind somebody, you couldn't even suck up on them. It was the craziest thing, but it all worked out in the end, I guess.
Well, it does. You come home second. It's a good points night for you, but it's one spot short of the victory. So we saw you lead a bunch of laps tonight. What's the mindset been, and what's the plan going forward to get yourself one spot better and get in victory lane?
If it's somebody else in front of me, I might make the move. I don't know. I just don't make moves on teammates like that. You know what I mean? It's better just to keep him up there than me screw myself. You know what I mean? It's just, that's the chances you take. I just like finishing in the money. I don't try to wreck myself trying to make bigger moves than what needs to be made. So, I'm points racing too. So it's all about getting to the end of this thing and trying to get in on points. And there was a lot of good heavy hitters up there. Sean Hill, Baker, Garrett, Kenneth, Dylan Basin. Bason's underrated, man. He's always there lurking when he runs these things. Just a lot of good drivers up there. And thank you for doing this broadcast, man. You're awesome. Awesome voice. You do the little guys stuff. Thank you for doing that.
Well, absolutely. And it means a lot. Appreciate the kind words. But, hey, you come home second. I've got you here for a second. So while I've got you want to thank anybody or shout out?
Yeah, thank you all for doing this broadcast once again. Thank you for Ron putting on this race. I know it takes a lot of work week in and week out. Hey, the Xfinity cars have been the cleanest racing so far. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen, but it's crazy. These endings and these races have been clean. That's amazing. So thank you for the guys who ran clean at the end there, and everybody that makes this possible. Thank you.
All right, well, congrats on that second place run. Go enjoy it, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Daniel Eberhardt in the 90. Finishes second here tonight, and that brings us to our final driver you're going to hear from. That's our back-to-back winner, Andrew Navarro in the 44. Brings it home in victory lane once again. We're going to see what he's got to say about it. Hey, Andrew, it's Dawson up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
All right, well, it's back-to-back for you here 2 weeks in a row that we see in victory lane. You take me through your night. How'd you do it?
Yeah, just there was no runs really developing, which is not usually how the Xfinity car works. So my plan of staying out back until the end really didn't work. So we changed it after the stage break. Usually I would just take tires, but tires really didn't seem to matter all today. So took no tires, gained some track position, got lucky that there was a third line, jumped in it, and then got clear. And then just kind of stayed up front, at least the second car in line, pit, and then just tried to avoid all the chaos there. And then thankfully Daniel pushed me there at the end and didn't jump out, so that was good.
Well, absolutely, and it brings you another victory here on this young season. And kind of take me through, we talked to Daniel and Alex just a few minutes ago about how these cars were driving tonight, and Daniel especially kind of said there were no runs, and Kenny McCullough actually said the same thing when we talked to him at the stage. So did you see the same thing, just not really able to pass, not really able to go anywhere once you were behind somebody? I know Kenny mentioned specifically you had to have 3 cars and drag brake to get the line to go anywhere. So what'd you see in that respect?
Yeah, it was just really hard to do anything there. The third line was... the third line was able to clear like 1 car at a time, but it was just the temps were just getting hot, and then you just hit the racetrack so bad with the front end that it was just killing any run that you would get on somebody. So you really couldn't pass anyone. It was like kind of like a real life truck race. We were just kind of double file and basically hoped for a third line. And I guess we played the cards right, thankfully, on the bottom and made it out all right.
Well, you do, and you come home with a back-to-back victory here tonight. You're the only multi-time winner so far this season. So while I've got you for a second, anybody you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Celebrity Cruises, Martin Sports, Adrenaline Captures, Bladen for making the paint scheme, you guys for broadcasting, and Ron for putting on the race.
All right, well, congrats on that victory, your second of the season. Go enjoy it, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Andrew Navarro in the 44-year race winner here tonight from Daytona. We're going to give you your race results here just briefly and get the rest of the field and where they finished here tonight. From Daytona, Andrew Navarro comes away with his second victory, his back-to-back win here at Daytona. Daniel Eberhard finishes second. Alex Hill finishes third. You heard from them already. Matthew Baker comes home in fourth tonight. Dylan Basin in the fifth position. Kenny McCullough in sixth. Garrett Maines in seventh. Michael Triscaro in eighth. Chris McCullough in ninth. And Dylan Jones rounds out the top 10. Jason Maines finishes 11th. Logan York in 12th. Mike Davenport 13th. John Ward 14th. And Cole Fitzpatrick finishes in the 15th position. 16th tonight, Zach Range. 17th, Ryan Baste. 18th, David Sheets. 19th, Cody Nagels. And 20th, Jared Mogard. 21st will be Aiden Kirk tonight. 22nd, Tony Cox. 23rd, John Darnell. 24th, Josh Holmes. 25th, Brock Westmoreland. 26th, Mark Vondell. 27th, Jeff Merck. 28th, Heath Job. 29th, John Mullahan. And 30th, rounding out the field tonight, is Danny Eschleman. So, that's going to do it here from Daytona. What a race it was. Andrew Navarro goes back-to-back. It was great racing all night, 2x2 most of the night. Third line got it going a few times, and that's what got Andrew Navarro out front. He never looked back. He got another victory, and he makes it 2 for 2 in the last 2 weeks. I'm glad everybody has come out and joined me tonight. I had a blast. Hopefully we'll have Austin back with us next week. It's the same time next week for Tuesday Night Thunder. You know where to be, right back here on the Ghost Racing Network. Thank you once again, everybody, for coming out. My name is Dawson Wise. You've been watching the Ghost Racing Network until Thursday, and then again until next week.